We're going to record just in case I say anything smart. It's been known to happen. You never know. You never know. Strap in. This could get good. This could get good. All right. I am going to pop into the old slides. There we go. And we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. We'll talk about the agenda. All of that's coming up. Relax. Get a beverage. Sit back. Get some popcorn. It's going to be good. Plus, you make some money. Making money is also good. We like when people make money from these webinars and masterclasses. All right. Off we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. High fee sales. High fee sales in the house. 5 big sales mistakes that kill your marketing, prospecting, and closing, and what to do instead. What to do instead. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. And let's get into it. So see if this some of this might sound familiar to you. It might not. I'd rather root canal than spend another minute selling, pitching, and peddling my stuff. Cold calling and being a desperate spammer? No thanks. By the way, if you can resonate with some of these, just give me an amen. Give me an amen in the chat if, as we're going through these couple, this is speaking your language here. Old school high pressure sales tactics don't work for me. Sales seems so random. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it doesn't. And isn't there a more systematic way to market and sell? So see if this is you. See if this is you. There are so many ways to reach new clients these days. And you're asking yourself, should I be selling on social media? Should I be emailing? Do webinars work? Should I be blogging my little heart out? Should I be doing a video, YouTube channel, live stream? I don't know I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do to start selling. I'm tired of being the best kept secret in my industry. What can I do to change that? How can I make prospects come looking for me rather than me chasing them? And you know what? I feel like I have enough leads, but why am I not closing more sales? Why am I not closing more sales? So here is our agenda. Here is our agenda for today. Why you're confused about some of these sales questions and why you're not selling more. Some prospecting mistakes, some follow-up mistakes, some pricing mistakes, some closing mistakes, and then some next steps to help you make it happen even bigger, better, stronger, etc. All right. And of course, our mega Q&A at the end. I also have some cool gifts for folks that hang out till the end. Our usual ethical bribe strategy, this time having to do with sales, sales outreach, and sales scripting. So hang out for that. Quick survey. Sales disaster or sales superhero and the entire spectrum in between. What we just want to establish here very quickly is, for you personally, is sales sucky or is sales awesome? I'll paint both pictures and you can give me a number between 0 and 100 in the chat. 0, sales disaster looks like this. No tools, no sales tools, no sales system, no process. I hate selling. It's demotivating. It makes me sad. I want to do everything except sales. And can't someone just sell for me? Can't just I find a salesperson out there and they can take all this nasty stuff off my plate? 100 looks like this. I have a consistent set of sales tools, consistent sales system and process. Man, oh man, I love selling. Selling to me is energizing and fun. I, in fact, hate to stop doing sales activity. Talking to prospects, yes, bring it on. Talking to prospects is the best. So 0 is sales disaster. 100 is sales superhero. Give me a number. Are you 55, 72, 18, 23? Give me some numbers. Give me the range. Give me the spread. Let's pop that into the chat. What do we have here? What do we have? All right. So we have 6 and 70 and 40 and 65 and 0 and another 60, 40, 68, 45, 33. By the way, 45 and 33, if you're of a certain age, those are record player speeds. Those are record player speeds. Little 45 RPM, 33 RPM for the big albums. 75, 55, Dean, of course, the Dean of Sales. No big surprise that he's loved me some serving with sales. 107, says Sharif. 72, 20, 50, 30, 49. Again, this now is the locker combination to my high school gym locker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. Thank you for the numbers. All right, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly, my friends. I started out my business, some of you know this story, started out in 2002 thinking that my job was consulting, training, and speaking. What do you think? True or false? If you're a consultant, a speaker, or a trainer, is your job consulting, speaking, and training? True? Yes, it is. Or false? No, it's not. That's not really your job. Drop a T or an F. Drop a T or an F in the chat. What do you think? If as an entrepreneurial consultant, speaker, or trainer, our real job is consulting, our real job is training, or our real job is speaking? Yeah, almost everyone is getting that right. It is not about doing the work. It is about getting the work. Amen. Yes, yes, yes. So here's the mantra. Here's the soundbite. Write this down somewhere. Are you willing to do what you have to do so you get to do what you want to do? Because that's what selling really is. Are you willing to do what you have to do so that you get to do what you want to do? I was terrible at prospecting. I could not close a door. And more importantly, perhaps most importantly, I didn't seek help. I didn't seek help. I just thought this is how it works. You know, sales is supposed to be this monumental struggle. And I thought I could figure it out on my own. And I was wrong. I was wrong. So I had 3 years of needless struggle and financial instability before I finally got serious about becoming a student of sales. So think about the term salesperson. When we think of a bad salesperson, this is typically our image, right? It's the used car salesperson. This is exhibit A. Everything that we don't like about sales is everything we don't like about this guy. So pop in the chat some adjectives and some thoughts and some descriptors of that terrible, pushy, sleazy salesperson. What are some of their behaviors, traits, characteristics? Drop some adjectives into the chat. The worst salespeople that you've ever come across, pushy, salesy, arrogant, what are they like? Give me some adjectives, give me some keywords, give me some short phrases. What are they like? Dishonest, sleazy, weasel, smarmy, dishonest, used car salesman, cheats, 1970s attire, says Andrew. Jerry says deceptive. Liz says obnoxious. Erica says scammy. Phyllis says impatient. Graham says untrustworthy. Jen says pompous. Felicia says sleazy, annoying, ignorant, pushy. Dean says selfish. Mark says rude. James says pushy. Tom says slippery. Brett says won't take no, invasive, inconsistent. You got it. You got it. I mean, that is why some of us have sales resistance, because we've just had too many bad salespeople in our lives. Now, let's look at a fantastic, awesome salesperson. Think about your very best experience with a sales professional. And that I want to emphasize that difference too. When we come across a sales professional acts very differently. Your very best experience, again, drop some words, some adjectives, some descriptors, some traits, some values, some feelings about a really high integrity salesperson, a true sales professional. What are they like? What are they like? What are some adjectives, some verbs, some characteristics, traits, behaviors, beliefs? How do they make you feel? Drop some keywords, some short phrases into the chat about the very best kind of salespeople that you've experienced. Professional, respectful, service. I love that from Liz. Don says enthusiastic. Victor says trustworthy, partner. Felicia says help. Man, Felicia, this is great. Helpful, consultative, patient, calm, relaxed, respectful, engaging, and inquisitive. That's it. That's it, Felicia. You totally got it. Sharif says very respectful. Sherry says knowledgeable, kind, interested. Patty says solution partner. Tom says knowledgeable. Erica says makes you feel heard. Isabella says great communication, good listener, client-centered, client-focused, friendly, helpful, but not oppressive, says Barbara. Victor says make things happen. Patty says, interested in me, listens, gives you what you want. They're like friends. They're honest, empathetic, connected. And James says, professional and helpful. Wonderful. Now, everything we're teaching today is going to help you become more like sales professional exhibit B and totally diffuse and totally move you away from sleazy, pushy, obnoxious salesperson A. All right, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Back when I started out, I refused to stay focused on money-making activity. I felt sales was an activity that I could kind of squeeze in between other things, and that sales was not my full-time job. My friends, sales is your full-time job. I was so easily distracted. I jumped from thing to thing. Squirrel syndrome ruled the day. I chased shiny objects that didn't lead to sales. Whole bunch of social media monkey work, whole bunch of content marketing, whole bunch of spray and pray, blasting out, a weekly newsletter and just hoping people would say, oh, he's so smart. Let me throw hundreds of thousands of dollars at his feet. Doesn't work that way, as it turns out. And when I got into a sales process, I allowed minor sales obstacles to become reasons to walk away, get discouraged, and totally throw in the towel on selling. So sadly, I lost lots and lots of money. I shudder to think in the first 3 years of my business, if I had gotten some sales help, if I had gotten some sales mentoring, if I had gotten a sales clue about what's really going on and what I needed to do to fulfill my fiduciary responsibility as an entrepreneur, I could have made hundreds of thousands, probably millions of dollars by now, since we started, 19 years ago in 2002. But those first 3 years, hitting every brick wall, hitting every dead end, falling into every manhole cover, the ones that were open and even the ones that were closed. So let's do a little self-diagnosis, because there's 5 distinct areas of the sales process. Some of us might be great at some and not great at others. So really look at your own business for a minute and let me know in the chat, where are you stuck? Number 1, don't even know where to begin. Wouldn't know what a sales process looked like if it kissed me on the lips. Number 2 is I need help with the front end. I need more prospects to talk to. I'm not opening up enough sales conversations. Number 3 is I'm okay with the process. I'm okay with the prospects. I'm not good at getting that second meeting. Or how do I get that second opportunity, that second at bat, third at bat, etc. I need to get more follow-up meetings. I'm getting enough first meetings, but not enough follow-up meetings. That's number 3. Just type in the number. 1, 2, 3, or 4. 4 is I'm okay getting the follow-up meetings, but man, when it comes to the money piece, my sales fall apart. I need to charge more and earn more, and my sales process is not supporting that. Or number 5, closing problem. I need to close more of the deals I'm currently working on. So closing problem. So that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If you have multiple ones of these, put multiple numbers in. Number 1, don't know where to begin. No process, just kind of chasing my tail. Sales happen when they happen. They don't when they don't. 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the 4 phases of the sales process. More prospects up front, more door opening conversations. That's number 2. Number 3 is I'm okay at the door opening. Then they run cold on me. They go dark on me, need more follow-ups. 4, I need to charge more and earn more because the sales fall apart at the pricing conversation. 5, need help closing the deal, need help asking for the sale, consummating the deal, getting more yeses, getting more signed contracts. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And okay, a good spread. And interestingly, many people have more than one, which is very, very common. Many people have more than one. So we have 4, 2 through 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 5, 5, 4 and 5. Barbara says 4, Nancy says 2, Phyllis is 3, Sherry says 4 and 5, Jerry says 4, Sharif says 1, Yvonne says 2, Jen is 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, this is very common. So don't feel bad. We can fix it. We can work on it. Alex says 1 and 2. Maria says 2 and 3. Kenneth says 4. Candy says 5. Closing. Liz says 4 and 5. Dean says pricing. Brett says 2 and 5. Okay. So Let's go back to the beginning. 5 mistakes, 5 solutions. Number 1, why you are confused. Why you are confused, why you might be stuck with sales. Guess what? In today's information economy, when your email box is jammed full of all kinds of crazy crap and offers and who knows what, it's what I call the vortex of conflicted advice. We just had our 3-day event, our 3-day Expert Profit Formula Live event last week, and I talked about this vortex of conflicted advice. You're confused, I would be too, because here's what the marketplace is telling you. Oh, you want to sell? Great. Well, you have to use LinkedIn for prospecting. Well, you're not using LinkedIn? Oh my gosh, you're missing out. No, wait a second. It's all about picking up the phone. You're not making cold calls? What's wrong with you? Selling equals cold calls. Cold calls equals selling. No, that's not how experts generate sales. You need to use a speaking strategy. Speaking is what's going to fill your leads pipeline. No, hang on. I'm sorry. My bad. It's actually networking. You got to go into all the Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups. You got to network your face off. You got to have all these virtual lunches and dinners and breakfasts and coffees. Actually, it's really about live streaming. You better start live streaming because boy, oh boy, if you're not live streaming, you are not going to be able to sell your way out of a paper bag. Hang on. Let's do what David's doing. Let's do webinars. Webinars are totally fantastic. You got to sell with webinars. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see? Does your inbox look like this? Does your email inbox, your social media feeds, you have to do this, you have to do that. If your inbox looks like this, go ahead and type inbox in the chat. Type in inbox in the chat if you're constantly getting barraged with, oh, LinkedIn course, cold calling, prospecting, speak to sell, speak on stages, networking is awesome, live streaming, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn Live, webinar. This is what my email inbox looks like. And friends, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and my inbox still looks like this. So it is absolutely no wonder that you're a little bit confused and a little bit sad. This is the face that we make. This is our confused, sad bunny. He lives with us. Our clients are familiar with him. We tend to eliminate him and get him off the table as soon as possible because we don't like stuck, confused bunny. Stuck, confused bunny can go bye-bye. So think about this as the 4 levels of marketing. The 4 levels of marketing simplify all of this, and you understand what you could be and should be doing and what is not for you and what is not the right thing at the right time at all. Strategy, tactics, initiatives, and action steps are the 4 levels of marketing. So let's say someone says to you, oh my gosh, you have to use LinkedIn. If you're not using LinkedIn, you're totally missing out. Well, let's unpack what is LinkedIn according to our pyramid. The strategy is under the umbrella of internet marketing. The set of tactics that it is under is social media. The initiative is start using LinkedIn. If we were doing a different social media initiative like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, it would be a level 3, just like start using LinkedIn. The action step takes the form verb, noun, date. Action steps always need to take the form verb, noun, date. So verb, noun, date, if you want to start using LinkedIn, would be identify 10 great prospects on LinkedIn by Friday. The verb is identify. The noun is 10 great prospects. And by Friday is the date. You can see how this immediately cuts through the fog, eliminates the overwhelm, and gets you into a tangible action step that can go onto your calendar. If you adopt just this one thing, verb, noun, date, for all of your marketing and sales activities, your to-do list will get shorter and shorter and shorter, and your prospecting and your pipeline will start to fill. Do not have a to-do list. Have an action list that is verb, noun, date format, and it will clarify and simplify all of your marketing and sales activity. Let's talk about a sales success story. Our amazing client, Ray Engen, $16,200 check in hand. Why is this exciting? $4,200 from one program, $12,000 from another program, and Ray spent 0 minutes in hesitation. The punchline of this one is neither of those two programs existed when I was paid for them. So one of the mantras that we teach in our program is go before you're ready. Start selling something before it's finished. Sometimes the proof of concept or the marketplace vetting and validation is, can I sell it to people? Make money as you find out. You will not learn anything about the viability of your sales process, your programs, your products, anything by sitting in your office and staring at the wall. If you want to find out if something will sell, go and sell it to someone. Open up more sales conversations with people so that you can validate and test your offers, your pricing, your fees, everything. And we're going to break that down a little bit more a little bit later on. But the mantra here, and the reason I'm sharing Ray's story, is because not enough people are adopting this go before you're ready strategy. Sell it and then build it. Don't build it and hope they will come, because they don't. They really don't. All right, prospecting mistakes. Not enough prospecting activity, including a 0 prospecting activity. If I was to look at your calendar for the last 72 hours, and please be honest here, be totally honest. I was to look at your calendar and look literally at the blocks of time on your calendar in the last 72 hours. If I would find 0 blocks of time designated for prospecting, please type 0 in the chat. This is your come to Newman moment. If I was to look at your calendar on Monday and Tuesday and this morning, if I were to find 0 blocks of time that you have proactively set aside for prospecting, just type 0 in the chat and meet all your new friends, because you're not alone. You're not alone, right? People go, man, prospecting is hard. It's even harder when you don't do any. It's even harder when you don't do any. And Mehdi says, I did it, but didn't block it, busted. Okay, that's fair. That's good. And this is about proactively making it part of your routine. Rachel says 0, and Jeff and Ryan and Sharif and Dante and Nancy and Mark and Felicia and Sherry. And you get the idea. You're not alone. Meet all your new best friends. Meet all your new best friends, Erica and Alex and James and Tom and Jen. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And you know what I'm talking about, because for the folks that typed in 0, it's like, oh yeah, I should proactively put that into my schedule. Second mistake that we make is spray and pray prospecting, where everyone's a prospect, any warm body. And I am just spamming the universe. I am trying to get anyone to pay attention to me. Or, you know what? I don't prospect because I have no idea how to open the first 10 seconds. Once I'm in a conversation with somebody, no problem. We're in a conversation. It's easy. It's fun. It's cool. No idea what to say. I stammer, I stumble, don't know what the first email looks like, don't know what the first LinkedIn message looks like, don't know what the first 10 seconds of that Zoom call should sound like. Just really have no idea how to open the first 10 seconds. How do I even do this in this post-pandemic world? You know, voicemail, email, video email, LinkedIn. What do I do? What do I do? What actually works? And then no clue what to say and send to open the door. So 2 types of sales, my friends. And this rolls out differently in the 2 types of sales. If you're involved in a corporate sale, meaning that you are calling on a company, you are calling on an executive. It can be a small company, medium-sized company, big company, gigantic, global corporation. If you're involved in a corporate sale, just type in corporate into the chat. And I've got a question for you coming up in a minute. Or do you only sell to individuals, meaning not in a corporate setting, but your end customer is also your decision maker? So you're an individual sale. You sell directly to your economic buyer. This is typically if you sell to like a B2C sale, or you sell to individual solopreneurs, right? That's also B to solo B. B to big B, right? Business to big business is a corporate sale. Type in corporate. If you're in the individual sale type of business, type in individual. Now, some people might do both. If you do both, you can type in both. My question for you is, are these two different? Are they different? If you feel that a corporate sale and a corporate sales process is foundationally different in structure and cadence and messaging and everything than an individual sale, type in different. If you feel they're pretty much the same, type in same. What do you think there? Different or same? Corporate sale, individual sale, B2C or B2 solo B, small business, entrepreneurial business, solopreneur business. What do you think? Same or different? Same or different? Especially if you're in the both world, do you think it's same or different? Not the same. Same with differences. I love that from Jerry. Same with differences. They are different. I'm going to say they are similar, right? Not to split hairs here, but they are not the same. They are different because you're using different mechanisms and there's a different buying process inside of a corporate entity than there is selling to an individual. So I like similar but different. Similar but different is pretty much the spot on answer. And as far as which one is easier, if you don't know what you're doing, it doesn't even matter. If you know what you're doing, they're both just as easy. So this is like, do I get an instruction manual with this? There is no instruction manual, right? We need to create your own instruction manual, which is your repeatable, reliable sales process. What you say, how you say it, what you do, how you do it at every step and stage of the process, from initial contact through signed contract. That's what's going on there. Once you dial this in, like our awesome client, John Ramstead, who sent me an email saying, praise report for today. David, using your talking points, I just got my first $25,000 this week. Client gave me $5,000 at the last meeting. We'll pay the balance when we start our program next week. Muchas gracias. So this was a corporate coaching sale. Different than what John had done before, different than his corporate speaking, which he also ramped up through our program. But imagine never having sold a coaching package for anywhere near $25,000 and then getting your first one. It's like, oh my gosh, the dog caught the car. How? Because he knew what to say and send. He knew what questions to ask. He knew what to listen for. He adopted a sales process, and it wasn't just a random series of conversations or a random chain of communications with that prospect, but he took a sales leadership role and he brought the client through his process. Very, very different. So here are some prospecting truths. Anyone that says prospecting is a numbers game, I guarantee you is an idiot. Prospecting is not a numbers game. It is absolutely not the quantity. It is the quality that counts. You need to segment your leads into hot, warm, and cold. You need to qualify your leads so you're not talking to broke-ass losers all the time. And you need to engage each prospect with 2 or 3 different communication vehicles. I can't tell you how often people say, well, I sent one email and they never replied. And then I sent a second email 2 weeks later and they never replied. So I guess I'll just leave them alone, right? First of all, never take a non-response as a no. Write that down, please. Never take a non-response as a no. A non-response can be a non-response for a lot of reasons. One of our clients had 14 communications with a prospect: voicemail, email, LinkedIn, message, handwritten note, handwritten card, send a book in the mail. 14 touch points with no response, none. 15th response, closed the $30,000 deal. 15th response, 15. Not second, not 7th, not 8th, not 12th. 15th response. Let's have a conversation. I've been getting your stuff. I like what you have. Now we have an opportunity. $30K deal. $30K deal. So here's the situation, my friends. There is no one right prospecting process. There is absolutely one wrong prospecting process, which is not having one. not having a systematic, repeatable, reliable process is a huge mistake and probably a huge gap for some of us. There is no one right prospecting process, but the guaranteed way to go to the sales graveyard, this is in fact the sales graveyard. The sales graveyard is filled with people who had no sales process of any kind. And they were winging it and guessing and hoping way, way too much. So what's the best approach? Come on their radar as a trusted advisor. Do not come on their radar as a salesperson, a pusher, or a peddler. Value first with authority marketing. Value first. We talk about this all the time in our programs. Offer value, invite engagement. Come onto their radar as a peer that has done their homework and has relevant, valuable insight to share with them, whether they buy from you or not. The other way we talk about this in our program is pre-sale value. Everyone here is great at doing the post-sale value. Most of you suck at the pre-sale value. How much value are you adding as a part of your prospecting process? Or is it a desperate, clingy, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff? When you add value before the sale, you make more sales and you make bigger sales, you get better clients, and you typically close them at higher fees. When you add pre-sale value, those three things happen. When you don't add pre-sale value, now you're a vendor and you're a commodity and you're in a price-driven sale and you're never going to win that game. So we have one of our ninja strategies out of about a dozen. We have about a dozen strategies in our outreach suite. Interviews as a marketing strategy, I have a special gift for you. If you go right now to giftfromdavid.com, giftfromdavid.com, that takes you straight to the one-page PDF guide that you can use this prospecting strategy starting this afternoon and start to get some conversations with prospects onto your calendar. Want to make sure that's working for everybody? Type in, you open up a fresh tab. I ordinarily wouldn't send you away, but open up a fresh tab, giftfromdavid.com. That should take you right to the Dropbox link for that one-page PDF. If that's working, just drop a PDF into the chat. So Gwen says yes. Jen says yes. Wonderful. Rachel, Erica, Brett, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So I want to make sure that everything is lined up here. I want to make sure it's all copacetic for you. So that is how you will start to have a door opening campaign as a trusted authority, not as a sales goofball. Trusted authority, not as a sales goofball. The other way to go is take this strategy and then go to all the best companies lists. Best companies to work for in America, most innovative companies. If Forbes has this list, Fortune magazine publishes a list. There are best of the best lists in every possible industry. Your local business journal has the 50 best companies to work for in Philadelphia and Austin and San Francisco and Orlando and Seattle. Use the interviews as a marketing strategy with the executives who are profiled in those best companies lists, because here's another sales mantra. The people that need you the most will never hire you. Think about that. The people who need you the most, this is the tragedy of entrepreneurial expert selling. When we have an expert business, we're a trainer, speaker, consultant, coach. The people who need you the most will never buy. You know who buys? The A players, the alpha dogs, the folks who are good and committed to getting better. The folks who are great, they want to get ahead, stay ahead, move ahead faster. The best companies will hire you and the laggards will not. Because the laggards don't believe in professional development. The laggards don't believe in paying consultants and coaches. The laggards want to scrimp and save every single penny, and that's why they're laggards. That's why they're behind. That's why they're struggling in their company or in their business. So you want to target the best. Do not target the strugglers and the stragglers. And you can also use newsjacking and trigger events. Newsjacking and trigger events is paying attention to the news and at the appropriate moment, reach out to a prospect. So Neil Dunsmore was in our program, huge newsjacking success story. I was ranting and raving and I said, Neil, you're not going to find prospects looking at your lap. He says, okay, David, I'm going to share my win. You said on one call, you won't find prospects looking, you won't find work looking in your lap. read the newspaper, watch the news, find companies with the problem you can solve, and call them. Well, lo and behold, I was reading the local paper, saw an article, thought this company's taking a beating. Why would they let that happen? I sent their CEO an email at 9:05 a.m. and he responded at 9:07 a.m. Neil doesn't say what the response was, but he told me what the response was. The response was, can't talk today. How about tomorrow? Clearly, he was either at the end of his rope or a really fast reader. Here's the punchline. We met, had coffee, and 1 week later, a $35,000 conflict coaching contract was signed. Why? Because Neil was looking in the paper, looking in the news, looking in the business journal, looking in the business section of the paper, and looking for who can I help? Who can I help? Who's got the problem that I solve? Let me reach out to them for a helping conversation. Helping conversations become sales conversations. You could even say helping conversations are sales conversations, or sales conversations are helping conversations. All right, let's give you the email toolkit. Engaging, you have to research this. You have to do your homework. But then there is an email door opening campaign. Here's what it is. Engaging subject line and first sentence. Keep these short. No attachments, no images, no fancy stuff. Clear call to action. Your only call to action with an initial email is to get a reply. Get a reply, get a reply, get a reply. The objective is to engage with you and to respond. That is it. It is not to buy. It is not to, you to pitch your program. It's not for you to establish their budget or anything. It's, I just want a reply, right? This is a step-by-step process and system where each step is dependent on the previous step. Here's what it might look like. You're doing your research. You're in the recruiting business. One of your target markets is biotech engineering. You found on Google or in the business journal or in some industry trade paper, there's a shortage of engineering talent. Great news for you. So the subject line of the email is, Ron, shortage of engineering talent. New numbers show fewer biotech engineers looking for work in the third quarter, forecasted to be even worse in 22. As you expand into the Midwest, how do I know that he's expanding in the Midwest? Research, article, press release, website. This could be a serious recruiting problem. I'm Jane Jones. I help companies like yours solve the engineering recruiting issue and have information I'd be happy to share with you. Ron, I'm looking forward to sharing 2 to 3 specific ideas for your exact situation and goals. This is the template, by the way. I'm looking forward to sharing 2 to 3 specific ideas, note the word specific, for your exact situation and goals. I put this in the template so you could steal the template. That's why it's there. Always say 2 to 3 specific ideas for your exact situation and goals. What's the call to action? A call or a calendar booking. You can call me at phone number or hop on my calendar at link. Right? That's all we want is a simple response. Simple response. Here's what happens when this doesn't work out. Here's what happens when you come across as a peddler or a vendor. I have to think about it. I can't afford it. Sounds great, just not for me. Maybe we'll do this next year. We're going a different direction. Oh my God. If you've heard any of those objections in the last 30 days, type in yes. Type in yes if any of these are reasons people have not given you money. I have to think about it. Oh gosh, can't afford it. Sounds great, just not for me. Not the right time. Going in a different direction. Type yes if you've had that. Now, even when you're hired, these are the typical nightmare clients from hell. They don't see the value. They push back on the fees. They nickel and dime everything. They don't do the work. They don't show up for calls. They don't implement. They don't get results. Compare that to when you have a great client. When you have a terrible client and they're lowballing your fee, low fee means low value. That means they have low respect for you, low expectations for working with you. They put in a low amount of effort, and obviously they get low results. When you flip this on its head, by the way, that's exhausting and depressing to have clients like that. Trust me, I know, I used to have them. When you do high fee sales, high fee immediately is associated with high value. High level of respect for you as the service provider, High level of expectation that what you do and what you teach and what you coach and what you mentor on and what you consult on is going to work. High level of discretionary effort from that client. When you say jump, they say how high, and they, of course, get a high level of results from that high level of implementation. Those kind of clients are awesome. They are energizing to work with and profitable for your business. So Jen Kronberger closed a 6-figure deal by moving out of the nice to have category and squarely into the have to have category. The reason that this success story is powerful, she was selling a corporate culture program to a hospital in the middle of COVID crazy pandemic time. Jen is actually here on this masterclass, and I just want to acknowledge her. She's one of our fantastic COVID-19 success stories, and she, of course, has sold quite a bit before this and after this. But trust me, if you can sell a corporate culture, diversity, equity, inclusion program to a hospital in the middle of COVID crazy time, you can do anything, but you have to do it with relevance, homework, commitment, and heart. And that's why this story is so important, because if you let yourself get beat up and you're in that low fee negative cycle, you will never get into the high fee positive cycle. You will never get into that high fee positive cycle. So I want to ask you an honest, upfront question right now. If you were to have a new monthly sales goal, assuming some things were different in your business, if you had a daily plan to connect with the exact right prospects, if you knew what to say and send at every step, if you could close clients reliably with no fear, hesitation, and doubt, honestly, no BS, please don't blow any smoke here, how much do you think you could sell each month? Put in a number, 5K, 50K, 20K, 10K, 15K. If you had these 4 things different in your business right now, you had a daily plan to connect with the right prospects, you knew what to say and send at every step, you could close them reliably, maybe 25%, 35% closing ratio. Honestly, looking at what you sell and what your current pricing is, how much do you think you could sell each month? I'm just genuinely curious. How much do you think you could sell each month? And we got some great numbers going here. So 20, 25, Tom says 50, Patty's at 100, Barbara says 10, James is 10, 120, 20, 8K, 50K. So these are all great numbers. These are all great numbers. Eugene says 25, Jerry says 10, Liz says 15, Thule says 35, Jen says 30. Well, Eric, I'm not sure about unlimited. That sounds good, but there is a limit to your bandwidth and your selling time and also your capacity. Phyllis says 10K, Rachel says 75K. So I wonder, why have we been stopping ourselves from doing this? These 4 things, I mean, based on just what I taught today, these 4 things are not, like we say, rocket surgery. They're not rocket surgery. You need a path and a plan and some accountability and some mentoring and some guided implementation maybe, but it's not rocket surgery. Here's our trajectory with this back when we started to actually figure this out with the high fee sales model that we teach today. So this is about 5.5 years ago, September of 2015. We had a $57,000 sales month. October was a $68,000 sales month. November was our first 6-figure month. November was our first 6-figure month. We made $147,000 in November of 2015. Why do I have screenshots of this? Because it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. I was pinching myself. For the very first time, this is August of 2015, very first time, we had 6 figures sitting in the bank. Usually we had, maybe 5K, 10K, kind of, usual business checking kind of number. When we were selling so fast and so consistently that we started to accumulate $100,000 in the business bank account, that was crazy town. That was unbelievable to me. It was unbelievable before it happened. And that was, again, August of 2015. So these are the kind of sales numbers that we're racking up, by the way. This is not, we're not selling a zillion things at $47. We're selling high ticket coaching packages, mentoring packages, consulting programs, $12,000 deals, $10,000 deals. I have a whole bunch of programs at $9,500, $6,000, $5,500, $5,000. These are all different products and programs that we're selling in this defined period of time here. So we are not doing small little baby steps. We are selling big. We are selling big. We are selling consistently. We are selling high. I want you selling big and selling consistently and selling high. So let's talk about some follow-up mistakes. Not talking to the right people up front, looking for love in all the wrong places, not connecting with high probability buyers, pushing and striving, peddler and vendor positioning, zero value follow-up and emails, zero value, where it's like, hey, is my check ready? Hey, you ready to buy? Hey, can we do this now? Here's follow-up magic. Always lead off with the prospect's comments from your previous communication. Ask a follow-up question to each comment that they made. Dig, probe, agitate, question it, challenge it, uncover what's really going on. It's not a need or a pain until you hear it from them. Never assume and never put words in their mouth. And then never leave one call without booking the next call. Not like, okay, I'll send you some information and get back to me when you're ready. Those people disappear, right? I'm going to send you a discussion document. Have a look at it, share it with the team. Let's put a push pin in the calendar for either Thursday or Friday. I've got Thursday at 10. I've got Friday at 11. By the way, I'm on Eastern time. Which works better for you? I'm going to lock in that next conversation before I leave this conversation. That is how to get people from stage to stage and step to step in your follow-up process. Let's talk about some pricing mistakes. Oh my gosh. Discount first mentality. Even when you name your price, you sometimes, the first thing out of your mouth is you're negotiating against yourself. Hey, it's $20,000, but I can work within your budget. Like you literally say that without taking a breath. It's $20,000, awkward pause, but I can work within your budget. Like if you have 45 cents, I'll take 45 cents. Please stop doing that. There's enough forces working against you. Don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. Price is too low to begin with. Caving on price too soon and too often. Nobody's going to value your products and services higher than you do. Pricing is a combination of mindset and confidence and you connecting what you do to the outcomes that they want. You don't do that, that is pricing malpractice. So here are some secrets. 3-tier option, good, better, best. Silver, gold, and platinum, call it what you want. Tie the money piece back to time and the cost of not implementing. Coney is cost of not implementing. What does it look like if they keep having this problem? What does it look like if they keep having this challenge? Learn to shut your mouth during a sales conversation. When you stop talking, they start processing. The sale is made in their head. It is not made coming out of your mouth. So let them process what you just said, and then they will step forward to buy. Start asking a lot more questions. We are always judged more on the questions that we ask than on the statements that we make. Stay in the conversation longer than you think you need to. And then tie back to their strategic priorities. Whatever the goals, outcomes, accomplishments, achievements of whatever you're selling, whatever problems we're solving, whatever outcomes and results we're creating, tie it back to what they said their strategic priorities were. People buy for their reasons, not for yours. So pricing success. Deb Rubin, another one of our fantastic clients. I even left a date on this one. It's August 24th of 2020. Middle of COVID crazy time. Oh, no one's buying big consulting packages. It's August of 2020. Just won a $90K consulting project. And then she says, yes, phase one as fast as possible. Now, this isn't just a once in a while success. This is an ongoing conditioning and habit of success. A few weeks earlier, she sent me this Post-it note, just closed 30K virtual workshop series, hashtag do it marketing, hashtag make awesome happen. So once you're in this mode, once this becomes your regular routine, once this becomes your expectation that you are expecting to talk to awesome prospects, you are expecting to have awesome sales conversations, this is where your business could be heading. Let's talk about some closing mistakes. Number one, biggest, most obvious, easiest to fix, not asking for the sale, not enforcing a clear next step on their calendar, waiting for them to make a decision, hoping, wishing, praying, and using gimmicky old school closing techniques that stopped working decades ago, but somehow you picked up some sales training or you picked up some old book and you think that's the way that people should be selling. Absolutely not. Closing problems are opening problems in disguise. You forgot to ask, uncover, probe, and question. You assume too much and you probably talk too much. So you didn't probe, dig, or illuminate. You were too polite, too deferential. This was non-urgent, non-important positioning. This was squarely in the nice to have category, not in the have to have category. Here's two big lies. Two big lies. We'll get back to you, and they don't. And then here's the other big trap. It's not two big lies. Sorry, it's two big traps. Big trap number one, we'll get back to you, and they don't. Or they say, hey, send us a proposal, and you do. Never send a proposal to do a salesperson's job. You are the salesperson. A proposal will never close the deal. You got to be brave on the call and not after. So the biggest problem with closing is a weak level of relevance, weak rapport, and weak respect for you as the salesperson, all of which are preventable, but all of which do not happen at the end. They happen from the first hello. And then every touch point up until that closing conversation, yes, I'll take it. Yes, you're hired. Yes, let's bring you in. That's when you lose it because you screwed up something in steps 1, 2, 3, or 4. So weak relevance, weak rapport, weak level of respect. Few more quick tips, and then we'll wrap it up and give you some next steps. Strong, consistent sales is not an accident. It's a proactive process to put fresh targets on your radar daily. If you have a system and if you have steps, sales are supposed to happen daily. It's not a sometimes once in a while I get lucky. It's a highly doable system. Part of the system that we teach is called 25-10-4-1. That means 25 initial conversations, 25 outreaches lead to 10 initial conversations, lead to 4 serious opportunities, lead to 1 yes. 25-10-4-1. That's not 25 a day. That's 25 a week. 25 a week, 5 a day, always in a play. 25 outreaches lead to 10 conversations, lead to 4 opportunities, which means people are qualified and interested, leads to you closing 1 sale. Depending on what you sell, $3,000, $5,000, $20,000, $50,000 coaching, training, speaking, consulting, that is a beautiful business right there. If you embrace 25-10-4-1 and the methodology, training, systems, and accountability to get you to 25-10-4-1, all of your sales problems go away, all of them. So here's what this means for you. Getting the fees you want without discounts, without caving on price. Consistent sales pipeline that eliminates fear and uncertainty, knowing not just how to overcome. When you're overcoming objections, you've already lost the game. How to prevent objections in the first place. Speeding up your ability to close sales on a daily basis, being able to help more people and serve at a higher level. Money lets you impact the world in bigger ways. Charitable giving, more flexibility in where you're spending your time and assets. Money is not everything, my friends, but I'll share our money story with you. This is over the past 5 years. So it's not this year, obviously, but it's over the past 5 years in the top row. 435 amazing rock stars in our various mentoring programs, 63 folks in our high-level mastermind programs, 562 online course sales. So that's about maybe $5.5, $6 million there over the last 5 years. I am pleased to say, pleased and shocked, my 2020 tax bill is over $160,000. I am very pleased and proud that we've made over $75,000 of donations in calendar year 2020. We're about halfway there this year, by the way. That's me personally. That's not the company. The company also makes charitable donations. Some of you know this. And last year, I was able to fully fund my SEP IRA to the tune of $57,000. So is it about the money? It's not about the money. But without the money, you don't have the ability to help people. Without the money, you don't have the ability to have the impact on your clients in the world that you are meant to have. So you can sell your time, but you can never buy it back. And I want to encourage you and invite you to consider what I'm about to say here, even before we get into our Q&A. This is caveat venditor, right? We all know buyer beware. This is actually seller beware. Caveat venditor is seller beware, that be careful who you're selling to and what you're selling. Because if you're selling to the wrong people for the wrong reason at the wrong fee, your life will be miserable. When we started selling the right thing to the right people at the right fee, everything became easier and everything became a whole lot more fun. So here are some facts. You can't scale your business if you can't sell. You also can't get someone to sell for you if you don't master it yourself first. Sales is the #1 job for any entrepreneur, any CEO, any business owner. The better you are at client selection, the worse you can be at everything else, including sales, meaning that prospecting and client selection is super important. And the better your offer, the easier it is to sell in spite of yourself. So focus on buying facilitation, right? I mentioned earlier, people buy for their own reasons, not for yours. Understand what those reasons are and help them buy from you. So I'm not exactly sure why you showed up today. Could be that you feel, you know what? I don't have that sales gene. I've never had that sales DNA, and I'm kind of tired of not winning the sales that you know you deserve. You want to protect your cash flow, start building a more reliable revenue stream, and start really charging for the premium value that you deliver. Or like me, deep down, you know that boosting your sales ability is the key to help you sell more services to better clients at higher fees so you can thrive long-term. So here's your decision, my friends. Information alone is not going to cut it. You need, like I said before, a system, accountability, and mentoring. You can do it slowly using trial and error and some of what I taught you today, or I'm going to invite you right now for the next couple of minutes to consider applying for our high fee sales 5-week mentoring program. So high fee sales is everything that you need to help build your sales muscles for every program and service that you sell. We're going to give you some sales power scripts that fit your personality, your strengths, and your preferences. We're going to create your high fee end-to-end sales process so you can master sales conversations from the low end to the high end and everything in between. We're going to give you all of the sales templates. So right now you've got one of our sales templates, which is the interviews as a marketing strategy. We're talking about templates for emails and videos and Zoom calls and sales conversation roadmaps and how to take people from initial contact all the way through signed contract. So you're getting the entire end-to-end system. We're going to help you make your next high fee sales. We're going to review your post-COVID-19 kind of post-pandemic emergence value prop and offer. We're going to help you with some door opening campaigns to get you more sales conversations on the calendar, live ammo feedback on those sales calls, enrollment conversation coaching and role plays and hot seats, plus our follow-up formula and newsjacking toolkit. So corporate sales workshop, how that would ordinarily work is $3,000. Individual sales workshop, how that would ordinarily work as a standalone offer is another $3,000. But you might be asking yourself, well, how is this going to be different? How will I be successful this time? Is this just a whole bunch of training and information and ideas? No, this is a doing program. It's an implementation program. It is a results program because that's where you make the money in implementation and outcome. So it's 5 weeks of focusing on results. There's a Facebook community that we'll be in. There's weekly web training with me, unlimited, never stuck consulting, again, with me personally, real prospecting and selling assignments. So like we saw with Ray, the very first success story, we are going to be selling live ammo, real deal, cash in the bank selling. And if you do the work, you will experience tangible improvement in your sales results even before the program is over. So the corporate sales workshop, the individual sales workshop, the accountability program would be $5,000 if it was sold separately. Weekly calls, action planning, unlimited consulting with me, total program value, $10,994. Even if you got one 10K client, that would pay for itself. But the good news is we're not doing 10K. So we're doing $29.97. We're doing $29.97. A payment plan on that $29.97 is also available. Nothing to buy. You cannot buy this right now. You cannot buy this right here. It is an application process with our amazing COO, Charlie Posnack. So you want to go to highfeesales.com. That's the application form. I'll explain what's going on there. You should feel equally proud of what you sell as to who you sell it to. Why can you just not click the button and come into the program? Because we don't take everyone. You need to apply, and we are modeling the steps that I just outlined, right? If you are truly running a high fee premium business, then you need to take applications like Harvard, Yale, and Stanford, because we can't afford to have clients that come into this program and go, I don't know how to sell, I don't know what to do. And they come in that way and they leave that way. So we need to have a conversation to make sure that you're coachable, to make sure that you're ready, to make sure this is a great fit for the kind of business that you're running. And the place to go right now, pop open a fresh tab, go to highfeesales.com. You're going to fill out an application. After the application, you're going to go onto Charlie Posnack's calendar. He's got time this afternoon and tomorrow, the next 48 hours. He has cleared his calendar to talk to folks for a decision call about this. Our client, Charles Scott, he says, I made $54,000 in the past month from the executive mentoring program that I created. And he says, thank you for providing the tools, framework, and motivation for me to create an executive mentoring program that exceeded my most ambitious financial goals. All he had to do was unlock the sales engine and the right offer, talking to the right people with the right language. And this is what someone like Charles can unleash. And I shudder to think all those numbers that you just typed in. I could make 20K and 50K and 60K and 35K and 15K and unlimited. Well, let's help you do that. Let's help you do that when you go to highfeesales.com, fill out the quick application, jump onto Charlie Posnack's calendar, and have a heart-to-heart decision call to see if this is the right thing for you. So apply right now. It starts with an application and a conversation with Charlie. Schedule your time now for tomorrow. Well, actually, it's today because he made some time today. He cleared his calendar today. Tomorrow, we may have some spillover time the next day. I'm not sure, but you definitely want to get in on this. By the way, this starts on June 15th. So you may see some slots on Charlie's calendar after June 15th. Doesn't make sense to do this anytime other than today, tomorrow, and the next day, because June 15th, the ship is leaving the station. So on the questionnaire, please be as complete as possible. Apply at highfeesales.com. I'm going to throw in a couple of bonus goodies. So for the folks that are taking action right now, bonus number 1 is a personal one-on-one sales fast track session with me. I charge $1,000 an hour for consulting. I don't even sell 1-hour blocks of consulting anymore. But for the first 5 applicants who apply right now during this masterclass, we're about to flip into our Q&A, and then join High Fee Sales, you and I are having a one-on-one. Look at where your sales are, look at what you're selling, look at who you're selling it to, build all of that out, and have a deep dive diagnostic sales fast track session so that when we start the mentoring program, you can really hit the ground running. That is literally the first 5 people who apply and then join. You can't just apply, of course, and not join. It's first 5 people who apply, go to highfeesales.com, you have a conversation with Charlie, you're the first 5 people in the boat, you get bonus number 1. So going down the hit parade here, if these were sold on their own, corporate sales workshop, individual sales workshop, because we're going to teach you how to do both, the 5 weeks of accountability, sales fast track with me, $11,994 total value. That is not what you're investing. You're investing $29.97. Second bonus for folks that are hanging out is, hey, you know what? Can we work on my prospects and my offer and my closing strategies? Yes. So we're doing a sales lab. This is a bonus during our 5 weeks together with role plays, power scripts, newsjacking ideas, door opening campaigns, how to follow up, and how to close done live ammo sales practice, sales hot seats. So again, if you apply during this webinar and you're invited to join High Fee Sales, we're going to work through all of that. together. And again, the link is highfeesales.com. So that's the recap. This is everything we're talking about. Bonus number 1, that's final bonus number 2. Taken all together, it is $13,491. And again, these are not being sold separately. They're being bundled together. And the entire experience is $29.97. But you do need to apply at highfeesales.com. One of my favorite clients, Bob Leffler, says, I was doing a business model for my coaching business, was working pretty great. And then I signed up for your course, and today was a typical day. I just got off the phone with a guy who gave me $2,000 of his money because I did exactly what you told me to do. So almost every day that happens to me now. So if anyone's thinking of not doing this, you'd be insane. You've got to not only do it, but you've got to implement everything David teaches, and you will be successful. So here's what the questionnaire looks like. Some folks are already over there, and that's great. Pop open a fresh tab, go to highfeesales.com. It's going to open up the application form. You're going to click the big old button there. It says click here to start. Once you complete the form, you're going to go onto Charlie Posnick's calendar. And you're going to pick a time today, which is the 9th, or tomorrow, which is the 10th, or Friday, which is the 11th. Again, program starts on the 15th, so it doesn't make any sense to do anything later than that. You're going to put in your name and your contact details. Charlie talks to a lot of people for a lot of reasons. So please specify high fee sales when in that box that says, please reference the purpose of the call. The reference of the purpose of the call is to talk to Charlie about high fee sales. So just type in high fee sales when you schedule your time with him, and then click on the big blue button, schedule event. And then you are all set to have a decision call with Charlie to make sure if this is the right thing at the right time. So you decide what happens tomorrow in your business. Sales can continue to be a struggle, or you can finally unlock that sales DNA that you've been missing. So I'm going to encourage you, apply right now. It's the next 48 hours. Single payment is $29.97. You get the one-on-one fast track with me if you're in the first 5. You get the sales lab if you enroll, if you apply on this webinar. So we're going to take all the folks that apply on this webinar, invite you to the sales lab $1,500 bonus session, everything that you need to sell smarter from initial contact all the way through signed contract. That's what we're going to spend 5 intensive weeks working on. If you're on the fence, if you're not sure, like, is this the right thing? Will this help me sell my kind of program, my kind of service? If you're not sure, apply anyway, and then you and Charlie can figure it out. You and Charlie can figure it out on the phone when you talk. So if you're not sure, if you're even at 51%, apply anyway, and you and Charlie can kind of hash it out during your decision call. That's why it's called a decision call, right? We decide if it's the right thing, if we can really help you, and you decide if you're really committed and ready to go. So if you only landed one extra 10K client, or even better, if you never had to worry about how to make revenue happen in your business and you could close sales whenever you want, get in touch with that feeling. Get in touch with what that would really, really, really be like. If you're still here, and there are people still here, of course, there's nothing but excuses left. So it could be one of 3 things that might be holding you back from jumping into that application. Number 1, the program doesn't work. Well, you saw a whole bunch of success stories that the program absolutely works if you do the work. Next one, I can't afford it. Well, I would say that you can't afford to remain stuck in your sales process. So this is a one-time investment, maybe a little short-term pain for long-term gain. And then the third thing that you might be thinking, well, okay, this will work for everyone else, but it won't work for me. That's why we have the decision calls. The decision calls ensure that this is the kind of sales process and sales system that will work and can totally be flexed and adapted for the exact kind of sales that you're making, the kind of business that you're in, B2C, B2B, B to solo B, B to giant corporations, whatever it is, those 3 are out the window. So it's highfeesales.com. Highfeesales.com is where to go. So just to recap, selling to corporate, we got you. Selling to individuals, we got you. 5 weeks of deep dive accountability and mentoring and action planning, we got you. Bonus one-on-one with me for the first 5 folks. Bonus sales lab for everybody who applies during this webinar when we're about to go into our Q&A here in a moment. And then total value is $13,491. And again, we're bundling that together at $29.97. So here's what to do now. Pop over to highfeesales.com, get the application in. I do want to share one quick thing because I know some folks here were with us last week during our Expert Profit Formula Live. So I want to share how this fits in with the model that we were doing last week. And then we'll go into our Q&A. But feel free to pop over right now to High Fee Sales if that's something that you want to do. And let me share my screen here. And then for the folks that were with us, or maybe you've seen this model in some of our other recent trainings, you'll know at least what we're talking about and how this applies to the model that we shared the last time. Here we go. All right, let me stop sharing this. Let me start sharing that. Stand by one momento. Excuse me. All right, here we are in iPad land. So for the folks that were at EPF Live, you remember what we had going on here last week. If you were not with us at EPF Live, this is our overall high fee expert business model. So the 5 weeks, where the 5 weeks of the high fee sales program ends up is we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this as a precursor, and then we're going to spend most of our time here and here and here. So if you remember this from last week, great. If you don't, let me walk you through it. And by the way, as you're doing this, feel free to pop over to highfeesales.com. That's still available to you. It's a little bit chunkier than I would like. All right, let's make it over here. All right, let's talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Area 1, area 2, 3, 4, 5. Positioning. Why is positioning part of your high fee sales process? Because to generate quality leads, you need to have a crystal clear identity in the marketplace. Your positioning needs to be dialed in 100%. So that the clients that you're trying to reach out to understand that you are the perfect solution for them. And some people's positioning is a little bit off and it is completely blowing out your sales process. So as a prerequisite, that authority positioning, coming across their radar as a trusted authority, that's where the crystal clear positioning comes in. And we're going to give you the methodology, the training, the tools, some exercises, some things to clarify that like you've never clarified it before. Second area, as a prerequisite, is compelling offers. We talked about this on today's training. Do you need to push and sell, or are your offers so good that they don't need to be sold because they are bought? So remember what I said earlier in the training, the more your services are in demand, the easier it is to sell in spite of yourself. Remember that soundbite? More your services are in demand, you now no longer need to push because you can now start to pull. And when you start to pull, all kinds of good things start to happen. That's when you're truly in filter and sort mode, and you never need to convince, persuade, beg, etc. Right? We are no longer in the convincing and persuading and begging business. We are exclusively and only now in the filtering and sorting business. But that's why this is so vitally important. And then the heart of the program, of course, is what are you doing to get targeted leads in the door. And every part of that is important. What are you doing? Action, proactive, right? All the folks that said prospecting 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, prospecting will never be 0 for you again. No more prospects equals 0. That's done. We are no longer doing that. So having a consistent pipeline of targeted leads who are eager to speak with you and respond to you, that's where that fits in. Optimized outreach is what do you say and send for that door opening series of messages to get more initial conversations. Right? Let's put that in some other fun color here. What do you say and send to get some initial door opening conversations happening? And the more conversations that you open, the more sales that you will close. Our clients know this, that we talk about this all the time. Nothing good happens outside of a conversation. Nothing good happens outside of a conversation. Are you getting enough quality and quantity of initial conversations in your business? If you're not, high fee sales, we're going to fix that. When you go to highfeesales.com, do the application, jump on Charlie's calendar, have a conversation about it. Now, the last piece of this, where we make the money. Where we make the money is here, right? The reliable conversion piece. We talked about the closing ratio 25, 10, 4, 1. This is great when you get it to work. 25 outreaches, 10 serious conversations, 4 opportunities, 1 sale. We talked about this last week. If you're with us at the event, I said there is a huge difference between 25, 10, 4, 1 and 25, 10, 4, 0. 25, 10, 4, 0, we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem, right? 25, 10, 4, 1, and this is not per day, remember, this is per week. 25 outreaches per week is the magic. 25 outreaches, 10 conversations, 4 opportunities, 1 sale. Now, if you get a little bit better at this, you math majors can help me with this. I'm not a math major. You don't, to double your number, to go from 25, 10, 4, 1 to like a 2, you don't need to double all these numbers. So let's say, we'll just have some fun with this. Let me put the little extra space in here. Let's say we do 30 instead of 25, right? Let's say that we get a little bit better at the messaging and the positioning. So now this becomes more like 13. Let's say out of that 13, we get 5 opportunities present themselves instead of 4. And let's say we get a little bit better at closing and urgency and listening, and this becomes 2. Notice I did not have to double 25 to 50. I didn't have to double 10 to get to 13. I didn't have to double 4 to get to 5. But at the end of the day, I now have 2 instead of 1. So this is what I'm talking about, the baby steps and the linkages. The baby steps and the linkages, we're going to strengthen that, we're going to strengthen that, and we're going to strengthen that. All of that is when you pop over to highfeesales.com, fill out the application as completely as you can, book a time on Charlie's calendar for your decision call. We will warmly welcome you in, warmly welcome you in. So that was for the folks that are doing that. Let me get out of this. Stop the sharing. All kinds of crazy nonsense just blew up on my screen, but that's okay. Now we're into our Q&A. Now we're into our Q&A. Feel free to raise your hand. We'll do this audio, not in the chat, because what the heck, there's only 55 people here. Raise your hand, do the little hand raise, either under reactions, raise hand, or participants tab, raise hand. And what questions can I answer for you about any of today's teaching or about the high fee sales program itself? Questions about any of the sales training, prospecting, door opening campaign. Barbara, Tom, Stan, Jeff Hunt, take us away. What do you got? First question. Make it a good one. Make it count. Jeff Hunt, are you there? We got to get you unmuted. Jeff. So Jeff, try and get your audio video situation squared away, and let's go to Neil, and we'll take it from there. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We can't, I need to unmute everybody is what I need to do. So people are like, hey, how come I can't unmute? That's because the thing was locked before. That's to maintain the quality of the recording, as they say on television. All right, let's try that again. Fire away.
Okay, back in the early part of the presentation discussion, you mentioned that you advocate selling before developing, or selling while developing a program or a proposition.
Yeah, sell it before it's completely finished.
Okay.
What's your question about that?
I just want to make sure I heard that right. Quite
frankly.
Oh,
yeah. So, because there's two paths here, Jeff. Path number one, spend 6 months building something, hoping, guessing, maybe this is what they need, maybe this is what they want. I don't know. Gosh, let's see how it works. You go out to sell it and you get crickets. That's 6 months, never coming back. It's never coming back. As opposed to the minimum viable product, and that's what Ray Engen did. That's what a lot of our clients do, is when they're launching something new, they build the value prop, they get people enrolled in it, and they deliver it as they go. So that when I say the proof of concept, when you're wondering, will something sell? The best proof of concept is, let's sell some.
Understood.
Excellent. Over to Neil Barron. And then again, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand, do the little hand raise thing, not literally raise your hand raise on Zoom. Neil, go ahead.
Okay, excellent session. Thank you very much. So on the slide number for closing mistakes, you said not asking for the sale.
Yeah.
How do you, in a professional way, ask for the order?
Watch this. Is everyone ready? Is Dean Hankey watching? Dean, you're watching. I can see your smiling face. Neil, are you ready to jump into high fee sales?
As simple as that.
It could be, but I'm actually asking seriously. Neil, are you ready to jump in and apply for high fee sales?
Okay, yes.
Awesome. Now, he could have said no, and he could also be lying. Don't tell Neil. He could be lying. But let me give you the principle behind it. This is a great question, and thank you for asking it. So think of closing as the natural extension of the conversation. So we're at the end of our sales conversation, like we are here. I could ask you very much like I did, hey, Neil, what do you think about applying for high fee sales? Pretty simple, easy, organic, natural extension of everything that's come before. Or I could say, well, at this point, what would you like to do next? Well, I'd like to come into the program. I'd like to hire you. I'd like to buy this consulting package, right? Or you could say, does this sound like something that you would like to do? Yes, it does. Every time that someone avoids asking a direct, would you like to buy question, you are either losing sales or you're delaying sales that could have closed much sooner. When we dance around that question, right? So think of it as just the natural extension when you're at the end of a meal at a beautiful restaurant. The waiter comes up to you and says, would you like coffee? Would you like dessert? Right? So here's Jen Murray. I'm going to go up to Jen and I'm going to say, Jen, would you like coffee? Would you like dessert? People are extremely unlikely to go, I am incredibly offended right now. How dare you offer me coffee? How dare you offer me dessert? You can say, yes, I would love some coffee. And do you have a good cheesecake? You can say, no, thank you to dessert, but I will have a decaf cappuccino. Or you could say, no, thanks. This meal was awesome. I'm full. And either way, they're all three good answers. I want coffee. I want dessert. No, thank you. Both. Yes. No. Here's the deal. We are not in the sales business. We are in the decision collection business. Think about it that way. Your job is not to sell anything to anyone. Your job is to collect a decision, So I'm just going to have some fun because I know Tom Oster here is in the house, former president of the National Speakers Association Los Angeles chapter, also involved in your academy, correct?
Perennially, yes.
Perennially, meaning
this year, but perennially.
Meaning you can't get out of yours and I can't get out of mine, and that's how it works.
Always.
What do you teach? What do you teach your academy people about sales and selling and asking for the sale?
This is not a self-serving question by David, but I got to tell you, we teach them several things from Do It Marketing.
and the royalty check is coming. Thank you.
And it's always based upon the value. It's always based upon the value of what they bring to the table. But what aspect are you asking about?
Well, just about going back to Neil's question about like, how do you ask for the sale? Is that tricky or how does that work?
Oh, no, absolutely. And that is practicing with others of doing exactly what David said. There's really nothing wrong with saying the words, are all your questions answered? And if so, are you ready to move forward with this? Because we could start right away. I've got time on my calendar. It's just a continuation of the conversation. I can't say it any better than David demonstrated. I actually, truly, when you did the coffee and the dessert thing, I said, oh my God, everybody has a tangible, everyday experience where they're engaged in sales and there's no grudge involved. That's the perfect example. I've never heard that before, David. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Now it's part of the LA Speaker Academy.
It is. It's going in tomorrow.
It's totally going in. I like it. So thank you, Tom. I appreciate you. Over to Jen, and then Barbara, you're on deck.
Thank you, David. I had a question earlier on when you were talking about no proposals. Of course, I didn't have David Newman wisdom when I sent a proposal. And so I'm curious, like, if you are in a process now where you've already submitted a proposal, what does your recommendation look like for follow-up?
Did they go dark on you?
Yes.
Oh, shocking.
Oh, I know,
shocked.
Right. I'm not shocked now at all.
I'm shocked and surprised. Okay. So I would revamp that proposal. And I would so how long ago did you send it?
So I've had probably like 5 outreaches with them, and the proposal was like outreach number 2. And that was, oh gosh, I think it's at least been over a month. Okay.
So many things. Let me ask you, Jen, are you considering applying for high fee sales?
I already did.
You already did. That's fantastic. So couple of warning signs that some of our seasoned sales pros are here going, oh. Second contact is a proposal, way too soon. Not enough conversation has happened. You haven't had a chance to do all the things that I taught today. Probe, peel, uncover, find out what's really going on, right? Do your due diligence, do your detective work. And part of what we're going to teach in the high fee sales program is what we call the deep dive investigative journalist questions. The deep dive investigative journalist questions is what do you need to find out, like a 60 Minutes reporter or like a 2020 reporter, that you need to really peel back what's going on, what's behind what's going on, what's behind what's going on. And it is way, way later in the process that a proposal should ever even be considered. So if you and I have a second conversation and they go, oh, you know what, Jen, send me a proposal. The comeback is, and we'll talk about how to do it next time. We'll talk about how to fix this one. How to do it next time is, I would love to send you a proposal. My only challenge, Barbara, is I have no idea what's in it, because we haven't established what you want, what you need. And of course, our client Barbara is here. I'm using Barbara in a generic sense. My two female generic clients are Barbara and Susan. And I think we have like two Susans and two Barbaras in all of our different programs. So they always get confused. Is he talking to me? It's like, no, generic Barbara, generic Susan. So I would need a lot more information from you before I could give you an intelligently designed, listen to the language, intelligently designed proposal that would fit your exact situation and goals. Remember in the door opening email, I talked about the magic of that phrasing. Based on your exact situation and goals, that's in the door opening email. It's also the reason that we're not doing any proposals prematurely. I don't know your exact situation and goals until we have a lot more discovery and a lot more surface, a lot more of the issues of what's really going on. So what to do with this one? What to do with this one is I would revamp and revise your quote unquote proposal. And I would just reach back out to this person and say, hey, it's been about 30 days. Is that right? 30 days you said? Okay. It's been about 30 days since we've had any communication. I've been thinking more about your situation. Shocking. I've been thinking more about your situation. And I'm not quite sure that what I sent in my previous proposal makes sense. Phrase makes sense. Logical, rational brain makes sense. Why don't we find a time this week, right? Ask for what you want. Why don't we find a time this week to reconnect? I will catch you up with my thinking about how we could solve your situation or challenges or problem. And you catch me up on where you are in your process. So this is what peer-to-peer selling sounds like. I'm going to catch you up on what I'm thinking would be a better idea than what I sent in that proposal. And you catch me up on your thinking with where your head is at and what you're thinking at this point. Now, who knows what has happened in the meantime? They might have hired somebody else. They might have dropped the whole project. The person in charge of the project might have gotten fired. So we don't know. Your best shot at saving this deal is what I just said. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Over to Barbara. I just got to get you unmuted.
And I can just say thank you while Barbara's unmuting. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So great to be here, David.
Thank you.
You and I ran into each other almost a year ago at an event we were at virtually, and we chatted a bit. And this was really good stuff. I am a journalist and content marketing writer, corporately, and am out on my own as a content marketer, content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And so my offer has been content done for you, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed, because as I've found my chops more as a solopreneur, and I've done more speaking, I'm talking a lot about story and how that impacts marketing. I am a person who believes also that words matter, and that solid communication, whether you're writing your website or you're saying hello at networking, is all part of content. And what I find that as I hire these clients, or the clients hire me. And
I love that slip up, by the way. That's what we're all going to start doing right now. We are hiring our next clients. So write that down. You are not in the sales business. You are in the hiring your next client business. They
makes-
apply and they qualify for you.
that
Just
makes-
like for the folks that are booking a time with Charlie right now, we want to make sure this is a great fit in both directions. And that's what you should be doing too. Quick sidebar, please continue.
that was a great sidebar and a very good confidence building point. What I am finding when I get these clients, and some of them have been by proposal, horrible, as Jen just talked about.
Yeah.
That instead of, yes, I do an initial interview and I dig deep to find their gifts. But what I'm finding is that in addition to providing this content, we are spending a lot of time where they're noodling and I am coming up, pulling out of them and coming up for them their best positioning and offer. So
And you're not charging for that.
I'm not charging for it. I'm spending more time on the strategy. And I'm thinking that actually that is where, talk about selling a program before you have it all finalized. I'm thinking that's where my work should go. Less to the content done for you piece and more to the strategy piece that sets them off on the right course.
Well, or it could be, let's do both. Let's do the strategy piece, but charge for the strategy piece and maybe even lead with that. And then the done for you is your monthly recurring revenue model.
Okay, I got it.
So I could easily see a $7,500 messaging VIP day and then $3,500 a month for a year to do the content done for you, or just pick some number. But that's what's popping in my head. That would be an easy sale if you're talking to the right buyer.
I like that. So strategy first, and you break that piece out.
Big time.
Content done for you second, and that becomes the monthly fulfillment. Got
Exactly.
it right? Like that.
Exactly.
Like that a whole lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. And just in the spirit of brave questions, are you considering applying for high fee sales?
I am considering it.
Okay.
I put out a good deal of money on some trainings, but I am considering it. And I certainly knew that I wanted to connect with you again. You're compelling.
Awesome. Tremendous. Thank you. Thank you. And remember, this isn't just training. This is implementation. This is live ammo, real deal, because we have the slide about information, insight, recommendation. This is about implementation and outcomes, because that's where the money is made.
And I like that piece of it a lot. Thank you so much.
You bet. Jared Bro, are you in a position to nominate me for the Speaker Hall of Fame? Because I will totally take it. I will take it. I'm happy to.
You're doing some CPAE kind of stuff here today, David. You know, I've been a fan for years and love to do it marketing. I think I might even be in that book. But no, I do want to sit at your table. I'm hoping that you'll move me up. And I applied, David. I'm going to do a call with Charlie here in 20 minutes.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it. It should be awesome.
Some of the stuff you were telling Barbara just now was also really good stuff. And I really like 25, the 10, 4, and the 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to our work together. Should you be accepted?
You know, you might want to choose your friends more carefully.
Yeah, you're right.
But your customers take them.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else for anyone else before we disband the Love Fest and or the party? Sales Love Fest, sales party. Liz Smart, you just sat down. You're waving your hand. Anything I can help you with?
Yes, I'm curious. Thank you, David. You're the third person that's talked to me about meeting with you, so I'm glad to have the chance to get to know you today.
Oh, good.
Yes. What day? You said you're starting on the 15th. That is a Tuesday. What is your schedule?
Great question. All Tuesdays. So Tuesday, June 15th through Tuesday, July 13th, 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Everything is recorded. You won't miss a drop should you have to miss 1 or 2 sessions. Facebook group, open 24/7. I'm in there. The whole team is in there. Never stuck email access with me, mano a mano. in between the sessions, in between the calls, you're wrestling with something, you want my eyeballs on something, you're about to send out a big proposal or a big something or other. So it is really comprehensive support for 5 weeks. So the 5 weeks of guided implementation, the training, the mentoring, the structure, the content, the scripting, the sales lab, all of that jazz is happening. And it's Tuesdays, 2:00 Eastern. We start next Tuesday. So it's a week from yesterday. And then our final session is July 13th.
So is it from 2 to 3 or 2 to 4?
I would allow 90 minutes. I would allow sometimes we might go 75 minutes, 80 minutes. We don't usually go the full 90 minutes, but you know, I like to throw on a lot of value. So once I get going, you might as well block 90 minutes. Be safe. Let me say this. It's 90 minutes on my calendar. It's 90 minutes on my calendar. So it should probably be 90 minutes on yours, just in case.
Wonderful. Thank you. And so a follow-up question to this, because it is my first time meeting you, and I'm already obligated to 2 other things at this point. Will you be running this program in the future? I missed the one that you just gave in June. I was also booked for that full 4 days. I was really looking forward to doing that.
I think the last time we did this was sometime last fall, so not quite a year ago, but about 9 months ago. So it probably won't be again this year. And I always tell people, like, listen, I may never run it again. God forbid, I might get hit by a bus. So this is your moment. This is your time. Liz, are you up in Canada?
I am. I'm part of the CAPS community.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
The other reason to do it now is Canadian dollar is crazy town. You do it now, it'll like save you 20% from if you had done this last year, you would have paid 20% more. If you wait until next year, it'll be 20% more given the exchange rate.
So you do more one-on-one coaching? Is that what you do?
We actually have a couple of year-long programs that we do, and many of those smiling faces are in here. But this is one of the standalone programs that we do. This is the gateway drug. Once you love this, you are going to say, "Oh my God, this was so great. Could there be something next? Like, is there some other way I could stay connected to this amazing community?" And the answer will be yes, should that interest you. A lot of people just do the standalone programs and that's it. And we have some alumni of those programs here as well. But yeah, most of our business is year-long mentoring programs with awesome, amazing experts and speakers and consultants.
Well,
these are kind of special. These are kind of special. We don't do these all the time. We don't do these little 5-week trainings all the time. This is kind of a special thing right now because most of our clients are in the year-long programs.
Okay. Well, I wish you a long life.
Thank you. Yes, I also hope I don't get hit by a truck.
I wish
let's go to Tom, and then Barbara is on deck.
Hey, David. In the 5 weeks, given that it's an implementation-oriented program, what is your advice to people on what automation tools they should really consider having? What would be the optimal combination of automation tools that would make the most out of those 5 weeks?
So I don't believe in a sales process, and you see some people who are going to disagree with me out there in the big world. I think in our kind of business, because we're not selling air conditioners and we're not selling, laser printers or copiers, automation for a trusted advisor business is almost always counterproductive. This is a personal one-on-one relationship building business. It is not a funnels and automation business. So the good news is low tech, no tech. If anything, I would get a good CRM that you enjoy so that you can keep track of your one-on-one conversations and kind of where you are with each deal as it's in process. But I am not a big person that says, put people in this sequence and then that sequence and then pop them over to here and then send them this bunch of emails. To most serious corporate buyers, that becomes annoying. What they want is individual executive to executive situational communication. They don't want to be in some funnel or some email stream.
So some of the examples that you gave this morning were very much email oriented, and that's consistent with what you've just shared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personalized email, text, calls, Zoom calls, bomb videos, All of that is part of your integrated kind of outreach mix. Because some people hate the phone, and some people hate email, and some people hate social media, or then they're never on social media. So, we've all had the experience. You try and reach out to someone on LinkedIn. Turns out they're not a LinkedIn user, and that message is floating out there for weeks. They never log in. They never saw it. And you're like, oh, not a LinkedIn person. Okay. And then there's the other kind of person where you might send 4 emails and finally somehow find their phone number. You call them, they pick up, you have a great conversation because they were a phone person and they're not an email person. I say this all the time, that I hate the phone. I never use the phone. I don't take incoming calls. I don't make outgoing calls. But if you email me, I will get back to you in usually less than 30 minutes. My email response time is like this. I live on email. Is that a problem for me personally? Maybe. But if people want to sell me something, they will have 10 times better chance doing it on email than the phone, because I hate the phone. Other people, totally opposite. They're like, oh no, I don't even look at my email. My assistant reads my email. I don't touch my email. If there's something important, he'll come in and say, hey, so-and-so sent you an email. And they just live on the phone. They just love the phone. They love Zoom. They love talking more so than writing. So it has to be a multi-touch approach that way. You can't just rely on email or just rely on Zoom or just rely on LinkedIn. And then Barbara for the big finish, because I've got one of our clients to talk to at 3 o'clock. Barbara, what do you got for the big finish? Always got to get you unmuted. Barbara, you got the unmute there? Yeah, you have your hand raised, or
Oh,
perhaps.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to the other Barbara.
No. See, again, we got 2 Barbaras. We got fictional Barbaras. I'm very confusing. I apologize.
And you don't run into too many Barbaras these days. So thank you.
Did you have your hand raised from before and I forgot to lower it?
Yeah, and I forgot to lower it, I guess.
No problem. No problem.
David,
All right.
I think Stan Jackson has a question.
Oh, Stan, go ahead. Sure. Thank you,
Yes,
Stan.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Hey, great information. I do appreciate it. Could you tell me this? Are you familiar with Simon Bowman?
I am familiar with Simon Bowen for sure.
Okay. That I've been on a webinar with him where he does all these drawings and so forth, methods. Tell me your thoughts on that, because it seems like something very unique.
It is. Well, I'm a Simon Bowen client. That's why I drew the meatballs. So I love that. I think it's a very powerful, it's not only good on webinars and it's not only good for information. You could take the models method that Simon teaches, and that's a one-on-one sales conversation. So if you and I were having a private sales conversation about doing some big $50,000 program or something, I would ask you 9 different questions about those 9 different accelerators outside of our 3 outcomes, right? The 3 outcomes are stronger marketing, more consistent sales, and exponential growth. So that's where, when I showed that model, that's actually an entire sales conversation around those 9 accelerators outside of that, that model. So it's a very, very, and that's just one of the models, of course. There's probably a dozen different models. Some are used for initial prospecting. Some are used for urgency. Some are used to, this is called the genius model. Simon calls that the type of model that I just drew there is the genius model, with the 3 outcomes and the 9 accelerators. There is the futures model that shows kind of where you are with, hiring you and your help, where you'll be without hiring you and your help. And they're great. They're great. They work and they tap into the visual brain. And the visual brain is really very, very powerful, much more so than trying to persuade someone or convince someone with just words or text. If you can show them where they are on a graph or a curve, they go, yes, oh my God, that's me. That's where I am. That's my problem. That's what I'm up against. So there you go. Thank you for noticing, and thank you for the question.
Oh, that's outstanding. Now, could you tell me this? I applied with Simon, but apparently my service is too new. They said no. How's the best way? Yeah. How's the best way for me to master what I can, since at this time they said no?
Well, Simon has a lot of great free content. Again, right? We talked about pre-sale value and how much you're doing out there to offer value to your prospects even beforehand. Simon has a lot of free training. If you follow him on LinkedIn, you get little snippets and little videos and little instructional things that you can sort of piece together the basics of it on your own, and kind of just, start to do a little monkey see, monkey do modeling of your own.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
And do you agree that it's wise to use, I think he uses an iPad and a special pen.
Yeah,
is it wise to do that?
Well, I don't know any other way to do it. So some kind of tablet and some kind of pen, but yes, I've had the iPad for years. And so that was an easy answer for me. The app that I showed you there, the app that I was using is called Notability.
Okay.
If you're an iPad person, it's Notability. And of course the Apple Pencil. Tim Cook is not paying me a dime for this commercial. By the way, neither is Simon. I'm going to bill them both right now. They're both getting an invoice. Tim Cook, you owe me $8,000. Simon Bowen, you owe me $5,000. We'll take it from there. All right, my friends, we'll have a great conversation with Charlie. For the folks that are applying, the folks that are on the calendar, I would encourage you, join me for this, and your business will never be the same. And I say that in the good way, not in the bad way. Your business will start to zoom in directions. Once you unblock and unlock your sales ability, all kinds of other good things will start to happen. So consider joining me. It's highfeesales.com application. Grab an appointment with Charlie today or tomorrow, and I look forward to the next step. Would you like coffee? Would you like dessert? Keep that in mind. Tom already has it written down, but the rest of you, would you like coffee? Would you like dessert? Pleasure seeing all your smiling faces. Thanks for being on today.
Great stuff, David. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.